Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Mindset Monday. I am so excited to be here with you all. If you see me looking to the side, I'm looking at my notes just to make sure that I stay on track. But let me know how you all are doing. How are you feeling? This is the end of October. I hope that everyone is doing well. This year has flew by. So let me know how you're doing in the comments. Let me know how you are. Let me know how you're feeling. And today we're going to talk about 3 signs that you're self-sabotaging your relationship. So before we get into the topic, I want to take the time to introduce myself and explain to you who I am, because you're like, who is this girl? My name is Shatara Oliver. I am a relationship and boundaries coach. I specialize in teaching women how to set boundaries so that they can unleash their confidence and attract healthy relationships. So that's a little bit about me. I hope everyone is doing well. As you're coming on in, say hello to me in the comments. Don't be shy. So I want to go ahead and get into it because I want to be mindful of your time. So I know that oftentimes you find yourselves in relationships where it's often hard to communicate, right? Or you feel like it's hard to communicate what it is that you need. You find it hard to attract healthy relationships. Hey, 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 good morning, good morning. And you find it hard to sustain healthy relationships, attract healthy relationships. So I want to invite you to join the Building Boundaries Bootcamp. It's a 8-week bootcamp where it talks all about not only how to attract and sustain healthy relationships, but you also learn how to confidently show up for yourself. You learn how to confidently set boundaries. You learn how to confidently communicate what it is that you need. So you can express vulnerability. So you might be saying to yourself, how do I even set boundaries romantically? Well, this is how you do that. So I want to invite you all to jump on a call with me. DM me. I'm ready to get started. And I'm looking for women who are ready. And I emphasize on ready to invest in themselves, ready to invest in their growth, quick to implement, quick to take action. I'm looking for women who are ready to invest in being in a healthy relationship and wants the tools to know how to sustain and attract healthy relationships. So if this is for you, and you say, you know what, Shatara, this is for me, or I know someone that needs that, tell them to DM me. I'm ready to get started. So this is for the women who are seeing those Black love posts that are saying, God, it's me again, right? Why is this not happening for me? This is for the people that's seeing that me and somebody's son post that's going on. This is your sign. So I encourage you to sign up with me. DM me. I am ready to get started with your journey. So let's go ahead and get into it. So this is our first Mindset Monday, and I am super excited. So let's go ahead and get into it. 3 signs that you're self-sabotaging your relationships. Number 1, this topic is very important because we can very well be in a healthy relationship, right? We can be in a healthy relationship, but if we're used to chaos and we're used to confusion and we're used to disruption and we're used to our peace being tainted with all the time, and you're not at peace, you can't set healthy boundaries, you can oftentimes self-sabotage your entire relationship, right? So the reason that I want to talk about this is because if you haven't healed, if you haven't redefined what a healthy relationship looks like to you, and this is where you have to really uproot the root. So what I mean by uprooting the root is, why are you attracting these relationships that you're attracting? Why is it that, where did this behavior come from? Did this behavior come from your mom? Did this come from your parents? Did this come from seeing your parents' relationships? Where did this come from? This is where we have to uproot the root to build a new foundation. So here is the first sign that you may be self-sabotaging your relationships. Number 1, that may be not communicating what you need, aka setting boundaries. So you oftentimes assume that the other person knows what you need. You oftentimes assume that you know how the person should know your need by how you feel, your body language, right? There, you're playing the guessing game here. So when you don't get the reaction that you're looking for, you disconnect. You have an adult temper tantrum. Yes, I did say adult temper tantrum. You start being passive aggressive. You start cussing. You start fussing. You start ignoring the other person, right? This is where that comes in. All because in your mind, the other person should know what it is that you feel. They should know what it is that you need. And you may be saying, Shatara, I said what I needed from this person. I still didn't get the result that I was looking for. I repeated what I needed. And my response to that is, did you take the time to ask them if they were even able to fulfill your request? Or did you assume? Right? So did they verbally say, hey, I will be able to fulfill this need. I will be able to do this thing for you. Where did you get that response is what I'm saying to you. Because you have to ask those tough questions. Did you understand what I needed? Right? So this is where you have to get out of that mom and auntie mentality that you grew up hearing, and your parents you heard them saying as you grew up in life, saying, well, I'm only going to tell you this one time. I'm only going to tell you this one time and you should get it. I don't understand why I'm only going to tell you this one time, right? So when you know deep down, it doesn't always work. Sometimes it takes you hearing the same thing over and over and over for you to get it, right? So why do you expect someone else to get it off of you saying one thing one time? And it may be something they may not even be used to doing. So sometimes you do have to repeat your request. Sometimes you do have to ask sometimes all the time ask if the person will be able to fulfill what it is that you need. So this requires you using I statements now. So you have to assertively, not aggressively, because some of us get aggressive and we get irritated and we get mad because we repeating ourselves over and over. But this is where you have to be assertive in your approach. So saying things such as I need, I require, I would like these things. That's how you can be assertive in your approach. So if you're using those I statements and you're communicating them with the person that you are dating or you're interested in being in a relationship with, right? So you have to take that responsibility and say, this is what I need right here, right now. And also be open to your needs changing too. Because as you grow as a person, your needs start to change. You start to grow, right? So your needs will change. Your boundaries will change. So far, if you're still here with me, that we discussed not communicating what you need is self-sabotaging your relationships. And you can correct that by using I statements. I need, I would like, I require, right? So number 2, the second sign that you are self-sabotaging your relationships, thinking that boring means stagnant. I'm going to say it again. Thinking that boring means stagnant. That goes back to uprooting the root in what you consume now in your present life and what you consumed in your past. So let's talk about it for a second. Let's think about the movies that you grew up watching, the movies that you grew up seeing, the TV shows that you grew up seeing. Martin, you grew up seeing Love and Basketball, you grew up seeing Love Jones, you grew up seeing Baby Boy, etc., right? So some of those movies created the narrative in your head that this is how things are supposed to be. It's supposed to be some type of conflict in there. It's supposed to be something. If it's not any conflict, it's not a real relationship, right? If it's not a hint of toxicity, it's not healthy, right? So if you keep seeing those things long enough, you will start feeling like this is the way that things are supposed to be, right? This is the way that things have to be. And a lot of us are so used to the thrill and the excitement and the rush and that high that I would like to call it. So that looks like the chaos, the arguments, the frustration, and it oftentimes leads you to feel really, really low. And that's where your self-esteem gets questioned. That's where your confidence gets questioned. That's where your love for yourself gets questioned. And you may feel like it's starting to decrease. And it's not that it's decreasing, it's because that chaos is coming in, right? It's that need to self-sabotage it because this ain't going right. So it's that need to prove yourself as valuable, or that need to feel like you are enough, when in actuality, you are enough. You always been enough. So this is where you have to really define for you what a healthy relationship looks like for you romantically. What does a healthy relationship look like for you romantically? What does a healthy relationship looks like for yourself? What qualities is that? What characteristics is that? Take the time to look at what's non-negotiables for you. Even if it's one or two things, start there. And if you're saying to yourself, Cher, I didn't grow up, I didn't see a healthy relationship, I didn't see my parents together, I didn't see that representative. This is where you got to start with what things did you like and what things didn't you like when you seen those things. And when you take the time to see what it is that you did like and what you didn't like, reframe those things. That's how you can start your list. If you're sitting here saying, I don't like arguing, cussing, and screaming, what is the alternative to that? What would you like to see? Sometimes we got to start off with the things that we don't like to define what it is that we do, right? And I teach all about how to reframe your needs in my 8-week program dedicated to showing you how to confidently set boundaries so you can be able to cultivate and sustain healthy relationships. So we ain't trying to just attract, we're trying to stay in there, right? So the third sign that you may be self-sabotaging your relationships is not being able to or willing to be vulnerable. I know that vulnerability may be tough for you. It may be tough for you to express your needs, to express when someone has hurt you or something is hurting you, because you felt like you couldn't, right? You felt like you would be labeled as weak. You felt like you would be labeled as a crybaby. You felt like you would be labeled as sensitive, all of the above. And some of those things have came from your childhood to your adulthood, because you don't want to be labeled that way. You want to be viewed as the strong woman that has everything together. You holding everything down. You're the go-to person. So instead, you hold everything in until you blow up, right? That's what typically happens. You hold everything in until you blow up. And in order for you to be vulnerable in your relationship with you, right? Because it starts with you. You have to really get honest with yourself. You got to get honest with yourself and have that honest conversation with yourself about the things that you've been telling yourself, the things that you've been holding on. That thing looked like, well, everyone in a relationship but me. Every time I'm in a relationship, it feels like it's not going anywhere. I'm always being the third wheel. Every time you look, someone else getting proposed to. Every time you look, someone else is getting married to. God, what am I doing wrong? I have the degree. I have the job. I have the good job. I have the home. I did everything right. I did my part. I did what I thought I was supposed to do. And I still don't have this, right? So that's where you have to allow yourself to feel. That's where you have to allow yourself to cry. That's where you have to allow yourself to be angry. Allow yourself to be frustrated. Allow all of that to come up so it can come out, right? Allow it to come up so it can come out, because whatever you're holding is going to hold you. Whatever it is that you're holding on to will hold you. So vulnerability is releasing in order to receive. And in order for you to have the healthy relationship you're looking for, it starts with you. It starts with yourself. Everything that you are looking for in that relationship to give you, you have to first give it to yourself to see if you will be even able to recognize healthy when healthy comes, right? So I invite you to start your relationship with yourself by enrolling in my 8-week Building Boundaries Bootcamp coaching program, where you will confidently build a relationship with yourself so that you will be able to attract and sustain relationships you desire to have. So this is for the women who are ready to do the work. This is for the women who are ready to invest in themselves. This is for the women who are ready to implement quickly. This is for the women who are ready to show up for themselves. So if this is you, DM me, I'm ready, so that we can talk about your next steps, right? So a quick recap of what we discussed. 3 signs that you're self-sabotaging your relationships. Number 1 is not communicating what it is that you need. Number 2, thinking that boring means stagnant when it's not. And number 3, not willing to be vulnerable. I hope that this message resonated with you. For those of you that are on live that are watching this with me, for those of you that may be catching the replay, if this resonated with you, DM me. I'm ready to discuss your next steps and moving forward with starting your journey and developing a healthy relationship with yourself. Listen, it was an honor being here with you all. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope that you all have a beautiful week ahead, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye, y'all.